Premo at so mema de sumenyina aha aba UTV premo kasiye so seno se kasiye ye to be amane wo fie mu sa so and our be for 10 times so UTV Ghana ubetimi ahye ho ubepie mu e wo DSTV a channel 360 so ubetimi ahye kasiye yi so e wo ho masada kasiye enkoma dwumaku a wo mo aso ya se etimi de kasiye e ba be da wo this way chocolate drink e wi ma wonsa enka bi ye wo hia eye wonsu onyu ne ice numsa na bogu bode maseda bebreme saso na special ice mineral water eye abuju nso papa ma wonsa entimi enkabi best point savings loans and best assurance so wo homa wo sika sem nyina ekodan wo mo na wo beye wo emwa papa saso and a YouTube data sort eye nchene pa emebi mpa wo fie eda kase nsama hodo edimu akotene bi ene Energy Minister Sabre wadi atudwa se Ghana man obia emontu mu se ene na momframa mu so ECG ye ton no se nukure bia sa enim ti mema ye nyintu mu sa so na Sabre aban ede hyehyeye atudwa kwan ya ebefa so edi eye Independence Day no Ghana in fear babedi 68 years no aha wadi ni nyina so ababetu edwa so na Health Minister was say ne bosha wo share say wo bema apomudi asoefo no dodo na adwuma ye no wanka ne se eye kwan a ye fa kwambone so efa binum adwuma no enumom na wo ba besoso so se debi na mu kwan papa eso we say ene ensem kaye saso na ye kaye ahwefo nyina so se sabre ya eye deputy ministers no sabe makopie mu e wa appointment committee aye toto wo ma no enti de ho nsem so nyina e ba bedan ahwefo a wo mo e hye nyina mia Midday kase ba beda wo Midday abenachi Boache. Enche bia eno mampanyini His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wabo aswafo abedi akire ebinum edin sasabre ya wo mo enkone atoto wo mano na se ye bo wo mu anase ye wo mu fa no tetienum na bibia ewie peyo a na ne wo mo na se eye parliament so ji wo mutuma na wo ma hyase edi wo mu dwumati sabre ya eye oba panyina wotie dwoma ye toto na no eye Lydia akamvriba or as Deputy Minister of State Designate. It is Sabre ya die hone ya said ya no toto no esiko.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'm not done. Your predecessor, in this context, as I want to understand, is your late husband. Would you want to clarify who the predecessor you are referring to?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My predecessor is not my late husband. My predecessor is the former Deputy Minister of
PTAG,
and Attorney General. Yes.
Okay.
Honorable Kinka.
Okay, that's all right. He did one term. And
yes, please.
Your my dear did how many terms?
He also did one term.
So your issue of having done far better is only limited to Pemba, not your husband, correct?
Yes, please.
Do I take it that it was a political statement? It was a political statement. You didn't really mean it.
It's yes and no.
You had an issue with Mr. Martin Kwebu's comments.
No, please.
No, you did, because you said if it were to be so, then we should be having professors to man our ministries, and the health minister should have been a professor. Are you therefore suggesting that you need to only be a professor to have the requisite knowledge? I just wanted to understand what you meant. Honorable Member of Parliament seated right by the nominee, be reminded that the nominee is on oath, and if you will be engaging in this, you will not be helping. No, please, Honorable. He's capable. She's very capable, please. She's very capable. Yes. Yes, proceed. I'm done with the question. I'm saying now you were suggesting that it only takes a professor to be considered for a political office. That's the impression I got.
Not really, but if his statement says that I don't have the requisite experience, I believe that he meant somebody who has the experience, a professor who has the experience in public sector reforms.
Okay. Now, you indicated on your CV that you read LLB at Mount Crest. You were done in 2016. Why didn't you do the bar?
Thank you very much. I tried bar exams, but unfortunately somewhere along the line, I had private issues, and came the big blow when my husband passed. So I didn't have that requisite mind to study and go and write the exams. But I'll still go back and write the exams. Thank you.
All right. Try and pursue the bar exam. I'm sure you want to be called to the bar someday.
Thank you very much, Senior, for your...
I'm sure you want to be called to the bar someday.
Yes.
Very well.
Thank you.
Are you really interested in this, your nursing profession at all?
I am. Leader, thank you.
Should there be a change of mind by His Excellency the President to move you to the Ministry of Health, how would you find it conducive to your profession as a nurse?
Thank you very much. I will still work perfectly at the ministry because I still have the experience. Thank you.
You have been on the countryside, and on this point, let me say that Honorable Ladi made a submission on the floor. I sat there and I was very touched when she spoke with passion about healthcare professionals in our rural communities and how our people are suffering. Is it really the case in your area?
Yes, please.
So would you encourage more recruitment of nurses in our deprived communities?
Yes, please.
Would you find it disturbing, a situation where, as you stated, there is a need to recruit more nurses, and that nurses have been recruited who are working, saving lives, and for some irregularities, supposedly, these nurses have to be sent home, as in dismissed? Would you find that disturbing? Because anytime a nurse is absent from a community, a life is in danger. You would agree with me on that?
Thank you very much.
I want you to answer without a partisan political hat. And your objectivity and your sincerity will shorten the process. I mean, I know you are a very sincere person.
Yes, I will be heard.
Thank
If
you.
somebody should die because a nurse didn't come to work.
That assured, would you, as a public officer, I'm not even saying you being a minister of state, and I say so because only yesterday we were in government, and there were things that publicly we couldn't come out to say critique our government, but in-house we could make suggestions to government that, oh, this particular policy, we hold the view that it could be varied, it could be done this way. Considering your peculiar challenge in your own constituency and elsewhere that you know, would you engage government to have a second look at this directive to terminate the appointment of nurses who were recruited after the elections?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I think, respectfully, my senior colleague and leader, I've answered these questions sincerely, that it is about engagement, it's about understanding the issues, it's about we having a collective agreement as to how we recruit people into our services. That would help us. Thank you very much.
Now, we obtained some information as part of our background check, and you know, adverse findings about us or comments about us are like a bitter pill on our tongue. All of us politicians, sometimes we are in self-denial, but those are bitter pills for healing. So take it in good faith. The little exercise I'm going to do, is that okay? Don't be emotional about it. So your constituents were interviewed, and this is what they had to say about you. She is described as competent and capable leader with the ability to mobilize the grassroots. However, some of her constituents perceived her as indecisive, making her susceptible to external influences. This is a perception, but we are also in a perception-driven enterprise. Having heard this, and having regard to the fact that you are going to lead a public sector reform, what assurances do you have for those who perceive you as indecisive?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Yetwa kasia no eso energy minister Sabrey wode atudwa se memma Ghana fo anaso obibia enje de nenam mframam se ECG yekwa akoton no na minister yi John Ginapo abra woko ejuma ensra ewo West African Gas Pipe Company na honom na osi so editu dwase se ye share ECG eka wo mo edina yade ha adwenpa enunti na mo tere wo nkrabatam se wo share ama akwankwa dwumekuo ede wo ho aba behyem atotontotoye ama eye company netimi akonanim ye pa wo se wo share ekatiti dia eda honom a $75 million wo se sikai enka ye betimi ede asisi adan ye betimi de ya kwan ye betimi de asi hospitals na so sabre eka ena ye di tua nanso so wo share ama akwankwa dwumekuo ede wo ho ba behyem a enya de se wo ton na emom aban na kosoa ekurem se yaban edwumadie sei.
Let me once again reiterate this fact, and I've made it time and again. But given that we are here, I think that it's important that I re-emphasize that point. what President Mahama has directed and what the government intends to do is not to sell ECG. And let me make it clear that government has no intention of selling the electricity company of Ghana. What we rather want to do is to involve the private sector, especially in the billing, in the collection, and the management of some aspects of the network. The shares of ECG will remain intact, no share will be diluted, and we have no intention of selling ECG. And so I want to encourage the Ghanaian public to disregard the news items, the publication, and the commentary by some people who should know better that we are selling ECG. It's not true. It will not be sold. But we want some private sector participation to bring about a high level of efficiency, reduce the losses, increase the revenue base, so that we can pay for some of these bills we are talking about. The Minister of Finance, under normal circumstances, should not be taking the taxpayers' money, which could have been used for other development projects, to pay WAPCO. But today we've had to squeeze and take money from the budget to pay NGAS for this $75 million. That could have been used for other developmental projects such as roads, hospitals, and other infrastructure projects. And that's why we are determined to ensure that we bring about efficiency by involving the private sector.
Yetwa Kasiano Eswa Sabri krata bi efri omampanyini na kachi aba beto abontene ni nyina nhyehyɛ ya mpanyimfo de egu akwan mu se Independence Day ebekoso no kwan a ebefaso akoso eni na mpanyimfo echire mu a ojefo busumi ewo mu ane de toso aduonu 28th February a womo ebeye enkaedum kese ni nyina ejina ho no ma ex servicemen na sabre no ewo 1948 no womo de omo petition ekwakoma sabre ne governor no ho ma yebo omo tu eku womo no womo se sabre no nyame ya domo a 28th ya omo beye enhyehye ya ye kaidum ediamo sanso na final national school quiz competition no nyame ya domo March 2nd no so no omo ede ebehyehyɛ so eno esikwasiada afei so no eba national debate competition na eno so no Tuesday March ne de toso 9 no so no eno so mo de behyehyɛ so sanso na President School Children Award Program no so enso esi wokuada March ne de toso enum yi enso sa edwumadi a omo ebeye ansana dapote 6 March no so edu ho no mabodwata ta wo mampanyin na tena ye bia na mpanyifo ekire mu se 28th no na wo mo hyase mpanyifo de niema egu akwan mu a wo mo na saa mpanyifo miensen ya yebo omutuo eku wo mo no wo mo so mbe yi abakwasem bi afa wo mo ho a wo mo de betu dwa ewo TV so radio so any social media nyina enti obi bia anya rehemu se nyina ebenya bi ahye saa so na nkitahudie ahye ye ene ekuo nketo ehyehyɛ ase nyina so no wo mo bebo dewro afa sede nei wo mo sesia sesa ensɛmtwerɛfoɔ yedwumadie ni ene empo wo mo be proteste enso so na afi adesua yesua free kantete mmere no so ni de esiye no eno so be yi ni nyina ama ye nyina yesua bia fo mo say case so say ye radio dodo na ye television stations dodo na social media any print media nyina omo bebo dewro e de afa ho amobia enye etimi ehu bi afi so ye hunu say eba no eye mabunu womo etimu po efa sa dwumedie we womo bo mo homoden se womo besesen ni se de mabunu so betimi age atomu na yesua bibi so e de afri mu womo encourage print media fo nyina se yemmo ye homoden na yemmo dewuro emfa dwumedie a ekoso e se de beya obibia ebetimi ate ase empanyfo kiremu se nhyehyeye o ma hyehye se nsacharaye biba animanimu yi a womo bebo mo homoden ama obibia so etimi enya eho entiye yakwa mu ewo soafo a wo hye apomudin eho nsam so meche health minister honorable Kwabena Minta Akando na sabere wacheche nsemu se ne bosha a wo hye ses wo ba beye osoafo yi a obebo no ho modene ama apomudin aso ye fo atimi anya adwuma aye no won kyerɛ mu sɛ wɔn mo a yɛde wɔn ampanyin si so akyire na yɛfa wɔn adwuma no wɔn no wɔkyerɛ da bi wɔkyerɛ wɔn mo a wɔn bɛfa kwan papa so ama yɛfa wɔn adwuma no ɛno na wɔkyerɛ ɛnyɛ 7th after 7th January wɔn a yɛfa wɔn no wɔse da bi afei so panyin de nsɛm yi ɛto dwa bra wɔkɔpie mu ɛwɔ ɛyɛ midwives for wɔn mo nhyiamudie bi a ayɛ a wɔn mo ɛyɛ ɛna wɔde to dwa bio so sɛ wɔn mo a ɛfa wɔn financial clearance no enwie pay no wɔn ho modena sɛ wɔn bɛpɛ ɛho agyinasie.
I issue financial clearance I'm obia some for head worker bia December 7th Ghana buying I issue clearance financial clearance I'm obia say yemfa health professional bia inti clearance na wo ho a yenye beto ye no juma omudi di ye no yenyi obia di na emom say after 7th na yen issue because answer na be for obia wa juma mu no je wonya financial clearance ndi yen issue financial clearance for recruitment a untimi mfa obia adwuma mu nze wo ye obi na obi adaada wo say ya fa wadwuma abra unyanya financial clearance no de so timi say udi nsuo gina mu a enye yie eyenko anka Ghana ni bia we health professional bia no wanya adwuma ye na emom potokasa mu de beka say ewo implication on our wage bill into no dodo na ewo fie no be fa kwan bi so na yene amaya hodo no akasa na omonso abra yenya de yenye pe awie no omo maka omo ti fie no omonso omotimi anya adwuma aye ewa amaya hodo so bi bisa se adan nti na Ghana yede yesika ede atreni wonom ne enso ye pese omokoye adwuma baabi wonmo omo wa amanone sika omo de bro mabusuafo ene sika omo de bro man no ebu oman kyekere pa nzi etreni health worker bi no konya adwuma ewo man hodo bi so no be na busuafo sika no be si dan obeye nema bebre ewo man yi mu a ebo oman ni so pa
wo hwe nurse na midwifery on the African continent amama ni nina ewo ko a nurses and midwives edom na endedue de ye wo Ghana ne se sankonko no ehia aka bom ama ya form African Nurses and Midwives Confederation first conference of the confederation Ghana na hosti ye Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives na hosti ehia wa ha ye bedwendwen sene nursing and midwifery esi ko krobie mu wo Africa efa wo share the 2020 global strategic direction for nursing and midwifery and he funny ejina say bano nursing education nursing leadership employment any de keka ka hu ni na sani esi gina na ye wie na obi akọ ne kromu a sani e betumi position ye ho na yetumi ne ye ministries of health enya nkita ho na yetumi ama nursing and midwifery akọ nanim
ba ko na meka na utie omo so omo kasa ya omo uti omo kasa mu ni se nursing ene apomodie ho nnwuma bia bekoso a wo se ye invest etumi di sika shem na sika na ye di shem no ye di shem na etumi esi hospitals ye di shem na etumi etua nurses ye di shem na obi biara oti oman mu bia no na se owo Africa bia no se okose okoje okohwe na pomudin mu a obenya ye behwe na enwo se otua sika bebre.
Pan-African Cardiothoracic Surgery Summit akoso ewo enkran ahase na eno eye ekukudamfo a wo mo ewo nimdie yie pa eba na pomuden ho ene akoma enyarewa ho ensem ena sabre wo mo hie to adwene ehu enimdie ahodo wo mo betimi ede aka ho ewo abefo kwan so ne no enanam so ema Professor Frimpong Boatin sabre wo de atu dwase wo sra ban sa ban emmomodin NCC centers ahodo no ewo mantan ahodo se de beya se wo hawi anayarewa na koma ho yare bi eba na nya fe ne nipa no ebe to kamu etu kwan a ede na kọ eye ayasabia kese mu ansana wotimi nya ayarehwe
the free anuachi eba na ni ochina na dichia adopta form ya kuma ho adwuma o Africa na any wo mo na fofo wo abochire Titu, America, Germany, Spain, the share one Krahasia, the Junior home, a choir, the Faso, na Akuma, the operation, with Macron. And one seven, like I said, Ghana has a share, say, Cardio Center, and be an fear, a can't fear, the Assam, the Ansa, any. Yeah, the share say, oh. Na nyamada roma ya cheche Ghana for pi adia womu so womu tuya kuma operation yiye ya womu so womu edi council cheche enchirema for na West Africa has so nipa pi free Nigeria ba has be free Sierra Leone ba be free Gambia be free Togo and now kura ba ku free Ethiopia ba ku free Tanzania ya enti adwuma no ekoso yiye na ye kanina no na ye pekwan a se de anima kora ni mo nso na ye hia abefo mfidie ye de be adwuma ne ekwan fofra wetimi aye akoma operation eno ti na ye ba ha ya ndwe ho de kana ha se nyima pii ho a ya ebiase nyina so mu ebi ni se nkofo amowo sickle cell yare no sickle cell disease ekwan a ye first do operation na wo munya complications no ena enese arpe yeri dadi sede which ma hwesa ankofo no na wo mo obeto wo mo enti ayade a yi se Ghana ya bomodin na o se to so ne hyemusu na ekoyanim obu echo e kan se so etimi ye nipa million bia no etimi ye akoma ayare no 400 na yeso 32 million it is 32 million Nanka would 32 times 400. You say, or say, think any power. They say, or say, in your sense, 10 and a walk masino. Your boy, no mutimi, a year, sit down, a year independent. See, I'm with my hair, commencing the cheer for the business of whole, and also, or say, the Timmy year, not Central year, or say to your Western region, not even to the northern part of the country. And your chassis yesterday in your bed and now no more. Near Chester go fight the almost shiny panua. Near again for home how kakra. Near this will be area no cabushi. So, Sadin no see here.
Emersebe Janima a Wutu Senior East in Persia so a honorable Phyllis na Koyo Okuno and Asabi Wakesi to say. Abanyi eye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Her Excellency Nana Opoku Agyeman Oma Benyi Sudie omo shepa omo sinkete so omo be share ama pepepe yo ne womo a womo nya eye atentenene womo timi enya atentenene pepepe wo sesa wo sha bandada yi na breso a womo ekoye ye kire eye democracy hub for womo koye ye kire wo hwane ya kyeche womo wo se wo maban yi so de wo behwe se sa ne ma no ensi bio na obia ebetimi enye justice wo se injustice de omo yi ni nyina e de feel.
Mr. Speaker, strides have been made and yet Ghana continues to grapple with serious social justice issues which call for urgent attention and sustained actions to curb rising inequalities and inequities as a result of our difficult economic conditions. Mr. Speaker, permit me to highlight some current issues in the area of social justice. Democracy and human rights violation. The arrest of the Democracy Hub protesters in recent years and illegal arrests and my illegal arrest have raised concerns about the shrinking civic space and respect for fundamental freedoms. The right to peaceful assembly and free expression of our cornerstones of our democracy and must be upheld at all times. The tragic death of 8 Guineans and shooting at me in the 2020 elections due to election-related violence remains unresolved. Furthermore, similar concerns have arisen in the 2024 elections where lives again were lost, especially in the Ewutu Senya East constituency, Kaswa. It is imperative that justice is served for the victims and their families. Now, with the rising economic hardship and inequalities, The economic downturn following the 2022 financial crisis pushed more than 800,000 Ghanaians into extreme poverty, according to the World Bank report in 2023. The Domestic Debt Exchange Program (DDEP) resulted in severe financial losses, popularly known as the haircuts, for domestic bondholders, many of whom are pensioners and working-class Ghanaians who relied on these investments for their livelihood. This phenomenon, Mr. Speaker, has been designated as a national security threat by analysts within civil society and government. Now, the lack of access to essential service is also a major issue. Affordable housing remains out of reach for many ordinary Ghanaians due to skyrocketing rent prices and the absence of comprehensive housing policy. And also access to quality health care, education, and social welfare is still a major challenge, with inequalities persisting in both urban and rural communities.
New Ghana Social Justice Forum na President Odano Yahaya Al-Hassan ena sabe wopim so pasa se ba Minerals Commissioner se omutimi enya opanyina owonim die yie a eba no technicalities na wadu suko ewo mu epa wo mo se Minerals Commission honom no wo mo challenges bebre ekoso ewo honom tie wo nyia wo bia wadu suko pa nti wo mo hwe ni mu se anka yenyi Dr. Tony Obin wono ewo nim die pa obetimi aboa commission no.
Ghana for the vote for change. And the change, you know, if I say a group of Mineral Commission, you know, Omo Sebi, or Omudi Wone, Omoya Katasha, Omo say, your water pollution. Omo Amuya Galam say, a good Ghana Nimasi, Ma, we are seeing a good Ghana, Omo that so Mineral Commission, Miss Oman Penny John Hamba. So on pump, Mr. Martin, you see, on pump in front of Mineral Commission now. Until you vote tomorrow. Ye action. If you are seeing a train, Ghana for in a train will say, Pam, Mr. And you see administration. Now appointing experienced persons. Now Omunda Mineral Commissioner. President, Dr. Tony Obio, why be that? And says 7 years or 8 years ago, one and that Mineral Commission. You would my power, yeah. You would my power, yeah. Make New Ghana Social Justice Forum. You did a dance here, say, Papa, you do one manner. Or the decency, Beba, or Mineral Commission, or the growth, Beba, Mineral Commission. Obey is sure, sir, there will be mechanism, Obe, sir, Oye Galam, say, in a small scale mining near. Obey, or ensure some many analysis. Now, boy, or say Ghana for bomb, penny for bomb in a mechanism, small scale mining, now effect. Say, and say, yes, I say, and pollute your water. Asema yeke, Mijina, Fidie, so panacho. Oman penny mamma. Mijini say, in the space of by 1 month, dear, Mijini say, Mr. Martin, and you see, then in Crawford. Omo good Ghana for any mass, or Pamomina, or Mineral Commission. Because they don't deserve, to still be a Mineral Commission. There be any other Ghana you vote to here. You vote to for change at Minerals Commission. Into on-pam Mr. And you see with immediate effect.
Erana na Ama Brown Kluche or no NAA Executive Director Emma Environmental Protection Authority. And as I be odia to just say, ewo eye djumedi omudi omu bo mo homoden pa se eba rubber omu beyi edi efri honomo na wodi nsemi etu dwabra na omu ye 16-day technical training workshop edi ama civil society organizations ne no ena ma misai esi su bio se womu authority ne se bo ne homoden se eba galamse ho nsensem no so so a womu di ho djuma pa.
Together, we're collaborating with CSOs on these actions as EPA. But education is key in all our activities. Ghanaians must be aware and also know the actions they have to take. We need to correct each other. We have a big problem with waste management in the country. EPA is taking steps to slowly phase out plastic waste. It will take a while, but we need to put alternative measures in place before we finally ban plastics completely, especially the single-use plastics. We believe we need to be aware, first of all, of the challenges that we are facing and also know the solutions that we have. If we know the two and we are not doing it, it means we are intentionally don't want to save our environment. But you can clearly see that a lot of people are not aware of the challenges that we are facing and the gravity of the whole problem. So we need to educate Ghanaians on the challenges and also what we have to do as a country to save the environment.
Yeah, as I say, you catch the abandon ni say. How need ye awaha? Inti as I say abano endi nesika ni eni monyam ni ahondi any all the diplomatic tools are abano the good name of the government of Ghana no. I say all the Thai CSO Sunechi and other government agencies say be ya ye di ye how no ekotu amanoni ana to the Green Climate Fund ombetumi ehun say oh abana kasa no e bon modi say climate change issue no eyade a eda o makoma so nti mesre say aban nipa bia no ba bia obegina bia no asem bia obeka bia no onbo modi embo climate change ewo kasa no climate change no eye security threat enye jihadis any Boko Haram kwana security threat. Climate change is more of a security threat than an environmental threat to this country.
Emma Shabajani, Emma Okankwe North, Honorable Sorry Saladi Awuni, and a Wajina Mashabajam Edia to just say, Ghana Funina, Mama Yamwa Yahum, Nian Kay Humum, Nayama ye Kasa ye Kano, India Kutini, Niam Bo e Humbain, was this ye share a name of Bunia, Yam pay a Kasaka. Was say a dear a hard dream pa. Was say a casa ye cano a dear kutene a war, so we a gun in near, a man who say we a gun in I feel so a bois, and my who say winning more mamre, any more money.
Mr. Speaker, sometimes when you go to our schools, our kids are being forced to learn other local languages that they do not understand. I would want to encourage that in every region, the first language of the region should be compulsory for all the students to learn. Then if you want to learn any additional language, you can also add that to the curriculum, or you add that for the choice of the students to take up. I was born in Greater Accra region. If I was born in America, I would have said I'm an American citizen. But I was born in Greater Accra. My mother gave birth to 9 of us, of which I'm the 7th born. All of us were taught to speak our local dialects. I remember those times my elder brother, who was frequently speaking Ga in the house. Each time my father was coming from the office, my father used to work with the University of Ghana. They'll turn around and say, Numbu and Bae. To which the old man is coming, it means we need to switch from Ga to our native language. My father got angry one day and then carried all of us to the north. Oh yes, that we should go and learn our local dialect before we come back. And so we did more than a year in Bolga. And today I can frequently speak my dialect. I can frequently speak Ga, which is my first native language that I learned. To which I speak good Ga because I was born in Greater Accra. But I did not stop at that. I also went further to learn the Frafra language. I come from Bolgatanga in the Upper East region. And so I speak Frafra a lot. It is discouraging for people who are supposed to know better. We sometimes sit on the airwaves and cast insinuations. Recently, our former information minister was heard on radio saying MPs on this side cannot speak in parliament because we cannot express ourselves in the English language. This is an information minister. This is somebody who was our information minister. She is my very good friend, and her statements were unfortunate. And so I'll plead that we should be the ones out there to chart the path for everybody to follow.
Emanfo ne mpanyimfo a wo mo wo seshi asafo seshi asanwen so ene seshi boako ene nkron kaye be ho nyina sabre wo mo se ehu abọ wo mo amomo nsuru gujam ni nyina nipa bonfo bi ana no mo bowura eye seshi police station honom eko wia entuo miensa eye AK47 neno ena mabuna wo mo wo eye seshi asafo ene mpanyimfo wo honom se womma eya posifu anu omo sabre no omudi omudu anaso omo duty no enefua enso 7 days se womo enhwehwe sa etuo miensa ye AK47 anya sa womo ni womo bedi no nyonyonyo
asama mo kanu ko bi ani asafa bemua bi antimi nko se okokoyi traffic police station wota meme se enti asam na ba no ni police wona hwehwe se IGP ba bi owo bi ya ka che manate asese police ye no mo obi ka papa anunguase o mogu asafoma no so ma mo popa nunguase no ni ye hu no ko wasa asem wo no menua 3 days abom bi besu asafo ni po mo di twa no koma no mo me ye hu ni pakoro no ye ntia se 20 menyina police station bank o security ama for the access wo o mo ta wo sesi a ade na twa no timi yiraye echo ye take inventory echo no kwa ye mutama beko abuba wo ye nim police o mutam bia de obaba di to bia nim niam ho na ade na niam no kwa yira satam no akonfo be na firi ba bi obaba gi tuo no akoba bi ebi si kroma de ye ye anti ase o
akuma esi aba no because asem na very dangerous very outrageous because how come say police says e wo ho any isolation place bia bank wo bank wo security police konso ni pomo na mo duty no how come say tuo AK47 dem ya sansa de na nasika e no omo tu da ba sisi etu ni na ye used to need here said the former assemblyman kan 1 week say omo anye bibi amfa ho a ye used to know you are ras against them into yesira interior minister Mutaka any IGP omo ina they should come because the problem now is very dangerous asan so buako say si obia ya any be within sa vicinity no our life is at risk
yes say tuo gu police station no mo tiem befa yini ba bi tuo mo di gu awa befa tuo nti ye ne police for no de no kra ye no mo bika ya bi no wa yenti ase na se mo kra intensi wa otiga na memu ayi empesen na wo ti say ye wo beti police station ye say tuo police for de bo mo ho ban ayi na the police for tuo mo de bo mo ban ya de na ye timenfo de ne ye anu ase kese pa e bin si da because hani asan so please comment that ya asan so ha petrol kro mu tie bi o mba petrol ha nyina enti anu ase kese pa no mo de makuru nti police for de enu o mu bi kan pa
area de soma ye gina semi so na ya home premo kase so yakoba David Oforisafo bongo difara odi agudie mu nsem so beto so ya baba sesia